Here's a look at where things stand right now, just after the 9 o'clock hour. These are very preliminary results showing that right now Donald Trump is leading Kamala Harris as we have about 9% of the precincts reporting. So again, this is something we'll be keeping a close eye on for you all night long, very early in the night. This is a look at the road to the 270 electoral college votes needed to secure the presidency. Right now, we've got 71 blue seats. We'll take a look at that map a little later on. But of course, the national focus is on those 7 battleground states that could swing this election. Those are Arizona, Georgia, Michigan, Nevada, North Carolina, Pennsylvania, and Wisconsin. Now, also at stake tonight is the balance of power in the House. Republicans have held a slim majority with 220 seats. The Dems have 212, and there are 3 vacancies. Long Island could play a role in shifting who takes control. Now, this is the first general election with newly redrawn congressional districts. There are some small adjustments in 3 districts here affecting people in parts of Huntington, Brookhaven, and Massapequa. In the first congressional district, incumbent Republican Nick LaLota is facing Democratic challenger John Avlon. In the second district, Long Island's senior Congressman Andrew Garbarino is fending off a challenge from Democrat Rob Lubin. Again, waiting on some results to come in. We'll get to those later on tonight. In the third district, Democratic Congressman Tom Suozzi, just a few months after his special election win, running against Republican Mike LaPetri. And in what may be the most closely watched race, incumbent Republican Congressman Anthony D'Esposito is in a rematch with Democratic veteran Laura Gillen in the 4th district. Now, we have live reporters at all of the local party headquarters across Long Island. Our Sherry Einhorn is with Suffolk Republicans. Andrew Enger is with the Democrats. In Nassau County, Jill Wagner is camped out at GOP headquarters, and Virginia Huey is in Garden City with the Democrats. Meanwhile, my colleagues Ken Buffa and Newsday columnist Joy Brown are in our newsroom tonight. They will be breaking down the results of the vote in the hottest races in New York and, of course, in the race for the White House. So a lot to get to. For local analysis you will not see anywhere else, we have Newsday Washington Bureau Chief Tom Brune in D.C. and taking a look at what's at stake here in New York State, Newsday's Albany Bureau Chief Yancey Roy will be with us as well. So we begin tonight with Sherry Einhorn at Suffolk GOP headquarters in Patchogue. Sherry, very loud right there now. What's going on?
Macy, Suffolk Republicans say they are feeling good this election day, feeling confident, they say, that they will have a reason to celebrate tonight or whenever decisions are made. They say they're feeling good from the top of the ticket down to the local races and everything in between. As you know, there is a lot at stake this year. Heading into this 2024 election, Republicans in Suffolk would seem to be in a comfortable spot. For the first time since 1996, they hold a supermajority in the county legislature, control 6 of 10 towns, have the county executive and district attorney's offices.
Overall energy has been building. I think that as we have seen this campaign ramp up, it's getting more and more energized.
There are 2 Republican congressional incumbents from Suffolk, Andrew Garbarino and Nick LaLota.
But we need to work together to help the affordability issue, and one of the main ways we do that is through a higher SALT deduction.
And Mike Sapricone is looking to become the first Republican senator from New York since Alphonse D'Amato.
This is a great opportunity, I think, for me, and a great opportunity for the state to see a little bit of bipartisan politics.
4 out of 5 state Senate seats belong to the GOP in Suffolk and 8 of 12 assembly spots. Still, Suffolk GOP Chairman Jesse Garcia says he takes nothing for granted.
Because we have tough races here. We're trying to pick up 2 previously held seats by Democrats in the state assembly. The state assembly has a supermajority Democrat by 3 seats. We're competitive in 4 seats.
Chairman Garcia, as you heard, saying he's taking nothing for granted. He says even in areas where Republicans are feeling comfortable, every candidate in every single race matters. That's the very latest at Suffolk GOP headquarters in Patchogue. I'm Sherry Einhorn for NewsdayTV. Macy?
All right, thank you, Sherry. We'll check back in with you throughout the night. Now let's head to Holtzville, where Andrew Enger is keeping tabs on Democrats in Suffolk County for us. Andrew.
Well, Macy, Suffolk Democrats are hoping for some big wins this evening, especially in the 1st and 2nd congressional districts, because if they go the way of the Democrats, that could help tip the balance on Capitol Hill. But right now, they're still just waiting for the numbers to come in. But earlier, when we talked to some voters, they say they're just glad that their vote is now beginning to be counted.
I just want it to be over with already. That's why I'm going to vote and just get it out the way.
Adrian Batista echoes the sentiment of many voters this year on Long Island. They're energized about casting their ballot, but are looking forward to a break from all the political noise.
I don't really know what's going on between them, but yeah, I'm voting.
In Suffolk County, Democrats making a major push to flip some seats in Albany and hold on to others. Adding presidential race enthusiasm is good for all local candidates.
When the turnout goes up and is higher, we do better as Democrats. And
Suffolk Democratic Committee Chairman Rich Schaefer says the 2 congressional races in the county have the potential to help flip the majority in the House of Representatives in Washington, D.C.
We in New York give more to the federal government than we get back.
John Avalon is running against incumbent Republican Representative Nick LaLota in the 1st Congressional District on a platform of fully restoring the SALT deduction, protecting reproductive rights, and the environment.
If you want to fix the border, you got to work together.
In the 2nd Congressional District, Rob Lubin is challenging Andrew Garbarino, saying the congressman has done little to help Long Islanders, adding he's willing to work with Republicans in Congress on immigration, inflation, and taxes. A push to the middle and away from solid blue or red stances, which Schaefer says makes Long Island more centrist or purple than other parts of the state.
The people who are successful are the people who run to the middle or be moderate.
Hank Ellis from West Islip agrees and hopes the political fights will be ending.
I'm just looking forward to it being all over so that we can get back to natural lives.
Well, we're expecting to see some big crowds here tonight at the IBEW Union Hall in Holtsville. Some people already starting to show up here right now. But Suffolk County Democratic leaders say the enthusiasm surrounding the Harris Walz tickets could create some big surprises here in Suffolk County tonight. We'll have to wait and see. For now, in Holtsville, Andrew Enger, Newsday TV. Maisie.
All right, thank you, Andrew. Our Jill Wagner is at Nassau GOP headquarters in Baldwin for us tonight. Jill, sounds like a loud crowd there already.
Yeah, people really just started to pile in about a half an hour ago or so. Republicans here say that they are cautiously optimistic about the election tonight, but they aren't taking anything for granted. And that's because there's about 100,000 more registered Democrats in Nassau County than Republicans. That said, back in 2022, there was a red wave here in Nassau County, something that Republicans are hoping to repeat again tonight.
Go into the street, you go into restaurants, and people come up to you and just say, thank you.
Republican Congressman Anthony D'Esposito running for re-election in one of the most closely watched congressional races in the country. It is a rematch against Democrat Laura Gillen, who he beat by just about 3.5 percentage points last time around.
Good evening, Nassau County!
D'Esposito was part of the red wave that swept Long Island in the 2022 midterms and gave the former NYPD detective his first term in office, representing Nassau's South Shore.
In a district where there's 70,000 more Democrats than Republicans, even 2 years ago, I would not have been successful without the support of Democrats and independents and conservative Republicans, and I think that support continues on now.
Nassau GOP Chairman Joe Cairo says Republicans are outnumbered throughout the entire county. But this election season, it doesn't matter.
People aren't Republican, Democrat. They don't vote party line anymore. They vote the issues, they vote the people, and we've got both of them on our side.
It's cost of living, it's crime, and it's the migrants, but they've all sort of meshed into one.
In the 3rd Congressional District in the northern part of Nassau, Republicans are running 34-year-old former state assembly member Mike LaPetrie against incumbent Tom Suozzi. LaPetrie told Newsday's Joy Brown that voters tell him they're tired of paying more and getting less.
Water, bread, milk, eggs, 40% increase in New York alone over the past 4 years. And people are feeling it. and we want more money in our pockets. That's exactly what I'm looking to do.
We asked some voters about the issues they're most concerned about.
The housing cost, main thing. Everything is very expensive.
Gun control, daycare, wages.
One of the issues you're concerned about is safety.
Safety, yeah, safety.
And in a sign of just how important this 4th congressional district is in terms of the balance of power in Congress, just this week we had the House Speaker and also the House Majority Leader here in Nassau County campaigning with Congressman D'Esposito. That is the latest from Baldwin at the GOP headquarters. Jill Wagner, NewsdayTV. Macy?
All right, thank you, Jill. Our Virginia Huey is at Nassau Democratic headquarters in Garden City for us tonight. Hey, Virginia.
Macy, there's tons of excitement here at Nassau Democratic headquarters. Control of Congress is up for grabs, and Nassau Democrats are hoping for victories in the 3rd and 4th congressional districts. Wins in those districts could tip the balance of power in Congress in the Democrats' favor. Here's a closer look at what's at stake. The race in Long Island's 4th congressional district may be a key to Democrats winning control of the House of Representatives. This year's race is a rematch between Democrat Laura Gillen and GOP incumbent Anthony D'Esposito. Gillen says she changed her strategy for the second showdown.
Oh, it's a very different campaign. I got into the election cycle much earlier than last time. We have 6 offices across the district. We have a whole army of field organizers. We've knocked over 235,000 doors already.
Gillen is running on a platform focused on tackling the rising cost of living on Long Island, reproductive rights, and immigration reform.
I'm going to be in it for the people of this district, and I'm going to start getting things done, like getting our SALT deduction back, working across the aisle to secure our border, making sure we protect reproductive freedom.
The battle for the 3rd congressional district pits Democrat Tom Suozzi of Glen Cove against Republican Michael LaPetrie of Farmingdale. And it's an important seat, given Republicans' small majority in the House of Representatives.
Here we go.
Newsday caught up with Suozzi when he voted early on Halloween. Suozzi says he's a common-sense Democrat who will work with Republicans on legislation.
Every politician says, I'm going to do this, I'm going to do that. People know me, and they know I'm going to get things done. I'm going to fight for them. I'm not going to fight for the party. I'm going to fight for the people.
Democrats are going all in on efforts to protect Democratic incumbents and flip 5 Republican-held seats.
We've been able to, mount a full-scale ground game here in New York State for the first time, and I think that's going to bear fruit. So I feel very good that we're doing everything we can to get out the vote.
Now this room is really starting to fill up. Everyone here is hoping to hear several victory speeches at that podium behind me tonight. That is the latest from Garden City. I'll send it back to you, Macy.
All right, thanks, Virginia. So let's talk about some results as they come in tonight. This is a look at the latest numbers coming into our newsroom right now. Donald Trump is leading Kamala Harris as 13% of the precincts are reporting very early in the night in the race for the White House. We'll get a check of those results later in the night. Also at stake is the balance of power in the House. Again, Republicans currently hold a slim majority with 220 seats. The Dems have 212, and there are 3 vacancies. 4 of those seats represent Long Island. In District 1, again, we've got Democrat John Avalon running against Republican incumbent Nick LaLota, who is seeking his second term. In District 2, Democrat Rob Lubin running against Republican incumbent Andrew Garbarino, who's seeking his 3rd term. This is the South Shore of Suffolk from Babylon out to East Mauritius. And District 3, we've got Republican Mike LaPetrie running against Democrat Tom Suozzi. Again, some very early results on your screen right now, very early in the night. But Tom Suozzi right now looking to hold on to this seat that he won in that special election to replace Republican George Santos. And in District 4 right now, Republican Anthony D'Esposito hoping to hang on to a second term running against Democrat Laura Gillen, the former Hempstead Town Supervisor. This is a rematch right now. No results for this race, but that is one we will be watching very closely as they are trying to flip that seat in the 4th district. In the U.S. Senate, Democrats do currently have a 51-49 majority if you include the 4 independents who vote with Democrats. Now, the GOP could retake control of the chamber with a net gain of 1 or 2 seats, depending on the presidential results. Here in New York, Democrat incumbent Kirsten Gillibrand is up against Michael Sapercohn and Diane Sayre. And here we go. Kirsten Gillibrand already being declared the winner for yet another seat as our U.S. Senator in New York. For more on this from the nation's capital, let's bring in Newsday's Washington Bureau Chief Tom Brune as well. With a look at what's at stake here in New York State, we also have Newsday's Albany Chief Yancey Roy. But Tom, let's start with you, and then Yancey will get to that U.S. Senate seat. But I want to start with you, Tom. Let's kind of talk about this presidential race right out of the gate here as we have these initial results coming in. What are your thoughts as we see what's coming in right now, Tom, and what are you keeping your eye on tonight?
I'm keeping an eye on the swing states. There's 7 swing states that will probably determine the presidential election. A lot of the reports that have come in so far have been from states that are very solidly Republican, which has given Donald Trump an early lead, but it's far from over. There's a lot of states left, and you have big states like California that haven't been counted yet. So it's too early to really determine much from what the results have been so far.
Absolutely. So let's talk about that. I mean, obviously we have a long night ahead of us, but realistically, when might we find out the winner of the presidential race?
Well, if it follows last election, it wasn't until Saturday after the election day that Joe Biden was declared president. So it might be as long as a week, or who knows? I mean, maybe things have sped up to a faster degree than they were before by various changes in the law, including the Electoral Count Act. And so we'll just have to see. But I suspect it's going to be later this week that we'll know the winner.
All right. Could someone declare an early victory? We'll find out as those results come in tonight. But Tom, we will check back in with you throughout the night. So thank you for your time in the meantime. A lot of attention on those national races, of course, but there is so much going on at the state level as well. So let's get over to Newsday's Albany Bureau Chief Yancey Roy here to talk about that. Let's just quickly start with Kirsten Gillibrand. Any surprises there, Yancey?
No, none whatsoever. She was heavily favored. She had a lot more money in her campaign than Mike Sapercohn. It was always seen as a long shot bid. I don't think Republicans put a ton of money or energy behind this one when they've got so many other races that they're trying to win nationally. The fact that Gillibrand's was called almost immediately after the polls were closed, not really a surprise at all.
Okay, so let's talk about those other congressional races in the House. New York, not necessarily, a swing state by any means, but it has a lot of power in the balance of power this go around. Let's talk about that. Which districts are you keeping an eye on that could flip things?
Yeah, in the battle for Congress, it's so close that many districts are considered swing districts, even if your state isn't, and that's where New York is. We've got at least 7 that folks everywhere are looking at as swing districts in New York. 3 of those are on Long Island. They include 1 Democratic incumbent, Tom Suozzi, and 2 freshman Republican incumbents, Nick LaLota out east, and in southwest Nassau, Anthony D'Esposito. But those are just 3 of the 7. There's several.
Looks like we may.
Republican Brandon Williams is up for re-election.
Okay. Well, we will certainly be keeping an eye on those races throughout the night, see what happens. Yancey, we're going to check back in with you in a little while, so stick with us. Thank you very much. Let's take a look at where things stand right now in the race for the White House again. And very early in the night, but we just want to bring up this full screen, take a little peek, see what's going on. Donald Trump right now still leading Kamala Harris again, very early in the night. But joining us to dig into those numbers in our newsroom is Ken Buffa and Newsday columnist Joy Brown. Let's get over to them, Ken and Joy.
Thanks so much, Macy. We appreciate it. Now, I want to introduce you to the Newsday board. Now, right what we're doing is getting this data in real time. And I want to explain a little bit how this works. If you notice right here, we have these light blue, these dark red, these light red, and these dark blue sections of the state. So Very simply, dark blue means that the state has been called at this time. Light blue means that it's leading towards either aisle. Blue in this case, not red. Same thing goes for the light red and the dark red. This means it's been called, but we come back out, you can see it's still being tabulated. It is still being counted. Now, at this hour, I want you to take a look down here super fast. You can see that Donald Trump is up quite a bit over Kamala Harris. But again, numbers are still coming in. There's still a lot of night left. And actually, I want to talk about a little bit of what we're seeing on this map. And for that, Joy, tell us some of the states that you think are very interesting at this hour.
Well, why don't we talk about all of them first,
Of course.
right? As of 9 o'clock, 41 states in the District of Columbia closed their polls, and that included 6 of the 7 swing states. Now, you look at these electoral votes numbers at the bottom, you have to keep in mind that for 9 p.m., I should say, there are 437 electoral college votes up for grabs. And so we haven't seen all of them yet. Let's also talk about turnout a little bit. Early voting this year, nationally, was about half of what the total vote was in 2020. And as the night goes on and we take a look at how more votes come in, another thing to keep in mind, that in 21 states, you can register to vote on the day you vote, on Election Day. So these results are going to keep coming in the way we keep coming in.
Now, I also want you to mention a little bit about Pennsylvania, what we're seeing at this hour.
Now, Pennsylvania is kind of interesting. You've got 57-41 at this particular point in time. This is one of the key states that both Donald Trump and Kamala Harris are in. She's hoping that this is going to help her with the blue wall. He's hoping that this is going to help him maintain that electoral college lead that he sees right now.
Also, this is the most time and money they spent on those campaigns. And in fact, Kamala Harris was out today knocking on nearly 100,000 doors trying to get those Pennsylvania voters riled up. But of course, we also want to talk a little bit about Virginia, because right now at this hour, it's leaning red. Tell me about that.
Now, that's kind of an interesting thing, because Virginia, the last 2 cycles, actually went blue. And now we're taking a look at 51.94% of the vote. Still doesn't mean that that's over. Still doesn't mean that it's over, but Virginia is a state that you want to keep watching.
Absolutely. Now, there's obviously some other big race happening on the island, those 4 congressional races that you heard about at the top of the hour. So let's take a look at how they are shaping up at this time. And you can see in District 1, we have Lalota and Avalon, still no numbers coming in. Could you tell us a little bit about these candidates?
Absolutely. Now, Nick Lalota, obviously, he used to work in the Board of he used to work in the Board of Elections, I should say. And John Avalon is a former CNN commentator. He's making his first run for office. Now, this is a district that stretches all the way out to the East End, one of the biggest districts that we have on Long Island.
Now, let's talk about District 2.
Now, Andrew Garbarino, he is the dean of the congressional delegation. He's looking for another term. He's up against Rob Lubin, who's making his first run for office.
And I know you sat down with him and spoke to him at our Newsday studios. Let's talk about District 3 and some numbers trickling in at this hour,
Let me tell you about those numbers.
And tell us why, because it's very interesting.
I'm going to tell you why. If you look at what's not covered, it's all of Long Island. The numbers you see in that district are likely from the Queens portion of Tom Suozzi's district. He's up against Michael LaPietri. Michael LaPietri, the Republican. Republicans really want this district back, just like they want 1 back and just like they want 4 back.
Exactly. So let's talk about for the rematch race that we're seeing on Long Island, the one that's getting national eyes.
Well, Tony D'Esposito, former Hempstead Town Council member, right? Well known in that area. Laura Gillen, former Hempstead Town Supervisor, well known in that area, and it has been a fight between these two, pushing for votes in that one little area down there.
So the theme of the night, just so you understand, is that all these numbers that you're seeing now aren't the numbers you'll always see throughout the night. They're going to be changing. We are going to be keeping an eye on what's going on, especially in those swing states that you've been hearing so much about. So make sure you keep it locked into Newsday TV. And of course, you can visit our website at newsday.com/LIVote. It is election night, and it's just the beginning.